Hi guys, so I just filmed tutorial number 2 for Halloween 2012. This is the classic green evil witch. I had a little help from a rubber nose here and a rubber butt chin. So if you'd like to see how to do this, then just keep on watching. So these are the nose and chin pieces that I'm using. I purchased them at Walmart after Halloween when everything was on clearance. And I'm just going to use the adhesive that came with it and put it in a palette. Now I'm dry fitting the chin to see where I need to apply the glue on my face. I just used a Q-tip and put the glue on it and just spread it onto my chin where the edges of the chin piece came to when I dry fitted it. I just made sure that I had a good amount of glue on my chin. Once I was happy with the amount of glue that I had applied to my face, I went ahead and attached the chin piece. I just sort of stretched it with the edges folded backwards and then flopped them over onto the glue. And then I just made sure that everything was stuck down properly. And then I do the same exact process with the nose, so I'm dry fitting it first to see where the edges come to. And then I'm just going to take the Q-tip that I used to apply the glue to my chin and apply it around the nose. And I'm going to be very careful of the eye area, like the sides of the nose that are closest to the tear duct. I'm going to be very cautious while applying glue to that area. And again, I wanted to make sure that I had a good amount of glue so the edges of the nose would stick to my face and not randomly peel off. So then once I was satisfied with the amount of glue, I went ahead and did the same like backwards flip-floppy edge thing with the nose that I did with the chin, and just stuck it and pressed it on where I had applied the glue, and then I checked the edges to see where I needed to apply more glue. And then I just went back in with the Q-tip and applied glue to the edges where I didn't have enough glue to keep it stuck down. And I've also just realized that I'm not using a Q-tip at all. I'm actually using a disposable lip brush, but you could use a Q-tip if you wanted. I just didn't want to ruin a good makeup brush. And that's also what happens when you record this video ahead of time and then go back and edit it in voiceover. You forget what you've used. So I just made sure the nose and the mouth were stuck somewhat securely before I moved on. And now I'm taking my foundation primer. It's the one that I purchased from Sally's Beauty Supply. Whichever one you want to use will be fine. And I just did this to keep the face paint makeup from staining my skin. So I'm just applying that all over the face with my fingers. Also, if you had some liquid latex, you could go over the edge where your nose and chin piece, I almost said mouth piece, attach to your face to sort of soften the line and it won't be so harsh. And liquid latex would also help it stay on if you were going to wear this out. But I neither had liquid latex nor were going to wear this for an extended period of time. So I'm just taking my necklace off to avoid turning it green in the process of painting my face. And I obviously struggled with the clasp. Sorry about that. I'm taking this face paint that I also purchased at Walmart at the same time as the nose, so it is a couple years old now, but I don't think I wrote down what it was called, but it's not the squeeze tube face paint, which I would suggest would be better. It's more of like a thicker paste, I guess, in like a little tray. Sorry, I couldn't think of what it's called. It did come with a sponge, which I did attempt to use, and then I decided that it wasn't providing enough coverage, so I just went ahead and used a regular makeup sponge to apply the face paint. And you just want to apply that everywhere, and I did try to overlap the edges of the nose piece and the chin piece to make sure that they were somewhat blended in to look like a cohesive one shade of green. Now the reason that I said I would purchase the more liquid face paint in a tube rather than the little tray of face paint is because I wasn't very happy with the coverage of this. It didn't seem to cover very well, and it was harder to work with than the liquid would be. So I don't think that I did 2 layers of face paint, but I did have to go back and sort of patch up some areas it didn't cover as well as I would have liked them to the first time around. That may have been because I did use a sponge instead of a brush, but like I said, I didn't want to stain a brush green. Although I actually did end up staining a couple of my Real Technique brushes green when I applied powder over the face paint. So I would suggest that you get a couple of really cheap brushes that you don't mind getting stained, or using some old brushes or brushes that you don't like particularly all that well to apply powder over this, or even to apply it itself. Now, depending on if you're going to wear a wig or a hat and how far the wig or the hat comes down over your own hair, will determine how high into the hairline that you want to go. I obviously didn't go as close as I probably should have because I didn't want to stain my hair green. Also, you could cover your brows if you wanted. I just decided to leave mine. And I also didn't get the face paint too close to the eye. I'm going to go back and fill that part in with powder eyeshadow in a green color. Ultimately, if you were going to be a evil witch for Halloween, you would want to cover any skin that would be exposed, like your ears, your neck, your décolleté area, your arms, your hands, any part of your legs that would be exposed. So I would highly suggest, if you're going to be a green witch for Halloween, that you wear a very long skirt or dress or pants that cover most of your legs or all of your legs as much as possible. I would highly suggest you wear long sleeves and possibly buy some green gloves instead of trying to paint your hands with face paint. I would also suggest that it be a very high collared shirt or dress as well. And I would also suggest wearing your natural hair over your ears or a wig over your ears. That way it will not be as much of a mess to clean up. Unfortunately, there sort of is no way to get out of painting your entire face though. I guess unless you bought a mask, but I think that would just be really uncomfortable. Once I finished with the face paint, I grabbed one of my Real Technique brushes. I'm fairly certain that that one is the contour brush. And I grabbed a green Palladio eyeshadow. Excuse my drawer open here. I'll tell you the exact name of it is Black Forest, but it's a very dark green color. And I applied that as contour on the hollows of my cheekbones and my temples. And I think that's it. Now, like I said, applying the powder to this cream makeup did stain the brush, and it also stained the plastic packaging around the actual eyeshadow pot. Obviously you can't see that, but I'm looking at it right now as I'm doing this voiceover, and there is green cream makeup everywhere. So just be warned that it stains. And then I'm taking a MAC eyeshadow, which is Velvet Moss, with a Real Techniques some sort of powder brush, and I'm just patting that onto the rest of the face, whatever I didn't contour. just to sort of set the cream makeup. And I am staring at the pot from Velvet Moss right now, and the eyeshadow, it has that funky texture to it when you take like water and use it in an eyeshadow that you shouldn't use water in. And the plastic around the pot is all green. So it still swatches okay, so just be aware that I wouldn't use a MAC eyeshadow if I were you. I'm also filling in the eyelid area with the same green shadows that I used on the face. I'm terribly sorry about the phone ringing in the background, but it happens sometimes. I'm just continuing to fill in the spare exposed skin on my eyelid with the two green eyeshadows that I was using previously. And I'm just switching to a crease brush and using the darker color to somewhat define the crease. Just go back and forth with your windshield wiper motions. And just repeat the same thing on the other eye. Once I finish the top, I'm just taking that shadow under the eye to fill in the gap between my lower lash line and where I stopped the cream makeup. And I'm also just going around the nose and chin area to make sure there aren't any gaps. And then I'm going in with a dark lip pencil. It's a Mary Kay waterproof lip color crayon in Bravo Burgundy. Any sort of darker bloodish red color will work, or if you so choose, you could just leave your lips green. It's all in your personal preference. Once I finish the lips, I'm just going back in with one of the green shadows to go around the edges of the lips. At any places that need a little more coverage. And then I'm going in with the darker green shadow and just powdering the face. Again. Just make sure that I have everything set. And then to add a little bit of highlight, I'm using a pigment sample from Tailor Made Minerals. I'll have the color name below. And I'm just using an eyeshadow brush to pat that on to where the skin will be lighter. Which will be above the cheekbones. I just switched brushes and I'm continuing to add highlight and more dimension to the face. So I'm just adding more to the cheekbone area and to the center of my forehead. You just want to take it, and it's exactly the same as where you put natural highlight on your everyday face, just with different shades of green. So it doesn't look like you painted your entire face green. So just continue to add more wherever you think you need more. So I'm adding some of my Cupid's bow. And then just checking my work. And that's it for the entire face. So I hope you enjoyed this Halloween tutorial. If you have any requests, please leave them below. And I will talk to you all later. Thanks for watching.